Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Prudential Committee for October 12th, 2022 to order. And I don't see any public to make comments, so we'll dive right into the treasurer's report. And for that, we are looking at Doug.
Okay. Yep. And I have everybody, I hope, got the email I sent out. Sorry for the delay. Like I said last week, I was down and out with COVID for a good portion of the week, so I was a little behind in getting it out. But there's not really a lot to report. Everything is in good shape. Bank-wise, we're getting there. I'm able to see all the accounts on M&T's website. I'm able to access the accounts. They fixed the sweep function, so all the money isn't sitting in one account as it had been since M&T had taken over. I picked up new deposit tickets and stamps and everything from Renee Gordon this morning. So it's slowly getting to where it needs to be. I've made a little bit of headway with US Bank, who holds the bond and the bond payments. So I've talked to a rep last week who is looking into the payment that normally comes in July for the bond interest that we hadn't received. So we're trying to figure out if it was lost in the move or got returned from the South Stream address because it's a government check. So he's looking into if the check was issued or not. So that's in the works. Tuition is starting to roll out to the village school, a couple of the other Southshire, Sacred Heart. So that's pretty much all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Seeing none.
Okay.
Thank you for that report.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
And I believe, unless you have a real interest in the rest of the meeting, which is going to be kind of humdrum, I think you can go about your business, really.
I'll take that because I've got village tax checks sitting here that I picked up at the post office today. So I'll spend the rest of this time that I would have been here processing and tax checks.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. So the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda, which consists of approval of the minutes of September 14th and the warrants. There's one warrant that includes the tuition payments to the village school of North Bennington, Lori Elwell for minutes for last month's board meeting, and repayment to the village of North Bennington for prebate monies that the village provided to. How does that work, actually? I forget how that works. The prebate, the village has to prebate the money, and we have to reimburse them from our tax receipts. I guess that's what it is. I should ask Mary about that, or perhaps Doug knows it, but Mary's more likely more familiar with it. Anyway, the total of that warrant is $181,470 in round numbers. And then there's a payroll warrant, which is for payment to Doug for his treasurer's duties for first quarter of the year. And that's with taxes, 941 taxes, and Vermont taxes, $2,960.38. So I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I need a second from.
Yes, second. Sorry, I was
Thank
muted.
you.
Yes.
So, any comments or questions about those warrants of minutes? Seeing none, all question, are we all in favor of approving them? Say aye, raise your hand, probably too.
Aye.
Thank you. Policies. We have warnings for two policies listed. One is policy number 1019, non-discriminatory mascots and school branding policy. So we'll take that one first. Would someone propose that we warn it? I can do it. I'll propose that we warn it. Second for that.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Kim. Kieran, do you have any comments to make about this policy or not?
I don't actually have anything on that policy. It's as written. It's just, it was a draft for non-discriminatory mascots.
Right.
And that's pretty much all we discussed on it. It was pretty much as written.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, there it is. So this just says statement of policy. It's the policy of the boards of directors of the districts to provide welcoming, positive, and inclusive learning environments for all students by prohibiting the use of discriminatory school branding, which undermines the educational experiences of members of all communities and perpetuates negative stereotypes. And most of this policy is definitions and administrative responsibilities and dealing with how complaints will be filed. Okay. The second policy is policy number, well, I think we'll vote on it first, okay? So, where are we? Did we already second it? So I'm not,
Yes.
not remembering that.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of warning policy number 1019, non-discriminatory mascots and school branding? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Policy number 5300, section 504 and ADA grievance protocols for students. So that basically is a policy that is determined by U.S. Law and U.S. Department of Education. And the U.S. Department of Education provides an additional way for complaints to be made. They can be made directly to the U.S. Department of Education branch in Boston, Massachusetts. So it's our policy, if this is adopted, this is an internal protocol for prompt handling and resolution, equitable resolution of complaints alleging any action prohibited by Section 504 and as the Rehabilitation Act 1973 and the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA of 1990, which both prohibit discrimination on the basis of disability and basis of disability in any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, and prohibits retaliation against persons who utilize the protocol, with provisions for confidentiality to be maintained during investigation of the complaint. So I think we have no real option but to adopt this because it's pretty much boilerplate that is dictated by those laws.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay. So
And-
just, excuse me, just to be clear, it looks like it's warning, it's not adopting, is that correct?
It's a warning, yes.
Right, you said adopt, so I want to be clear. Thank you.
Sorry. I didn't. I thought I had said clearly it was warning at the beginning. So this is that what, who made the motion? Did I make the motion?
I made the motion.
You made the motion, so your motion was for warning, not for adopting.
Indeed.
All right, and the seconder agrees with that?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Then I'll call the question. Are we willing to adopt this? All in favor, raise your hands and say aye.
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 To warn.
All
Yes.
right, great. Superintendent's report. Do you have a report?
Just a
Do you
little one.
want to say something?
I was just gonna say something quickly, is that okay?
You certainly have my.
Thanks, Ray. So I just wanted to let you all know, because I enjoy, touching base with the sport throughout the year, that this past month we've rotated the director of curriculum, instruction, and assessment, Melissa Senecal, and I rotated through the board meetings to share the third pillar of recovery, academic achievement, with all the boards. It aligned with this past year was the first year that the state released snapshot data, which can be found on the Agency of Education website. The data is from 2021, so I think that's important to remember, that we're looking at data that's 2 years old, but it is available on the website. And so we did present that information and where it can be found to all the boards. And we also reminded all of the boards, which is really important, to continue to visit the recovery tab on the SVSU website, because we appreciate feedback. There's a feedback button there that's always available and checked weekly. And then the things that we highlighted with the different boards were some of the academic initiatives that we have in the district that are linked to grant funding. Anything from materials to focus on professional learning to make sure that we're supporting the science of reading so that kids are learning how to read, conceptual math thinking, and engineering practices for math. And so that was our focus for different presentations we did at the board meetings this past fall.
Engineering practices.
Oh, yes, it's a very important part of science instruction. The engineering practices help to foster thinking, and we've
So this is hands-on.
Oh, yes, very hands-on. Yes, especially I would say at the middle level, the middle school in particular. We were really excited to support the Arlington middle level and Mount Anthony middle level, and then moving forward with robotics. We're lucky to have a makerspace in Bennington, and Chris Callanan has been able to impart some wisdom with our science instructors, and so something that we're embarking on is exposure to robotics, which is really cool.
And where's the makerspace now?
And then, well, that is a great question in this moment. I'm not quite sure.
Because I think it was in the old Alcaro Brothers,
Yes,
but
it's moved.
that's
That's
now
plans.
becoming or is a grocery.
Yes, yes. And so the good news is we've been able to make sure at the middle level, if I were to exit this room, there are a pile of Lego robotics kits and iPads that will help to support the implementation, which is really exciting. Like, I look at boxes of Lego kits and that makes me excited. So it's just some examples of some hands-on, hands-on things that we're using to support instruction.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Laura? All right. I had some items under my chair's report designation, and one of them got moved and the others got blocked off. But basically, I was The only thing I was going to talk about was the numbers of students. And then I scheduled this executive session, which is not going to be very long. And I don't expect any action out of it. So we'll get to that when we get to it. I think I need to need to get online with my email to find the emails that I want to check to bring up about numbers. So
Was from Jim?
yeah, there's one from Jim. And then there's
I feel like I have those somewhere.
yeah, you were the only person I really copied on it. That was about the 3 students that I was going to talk about it.
So what's the story on that, or do we need to go in executive to do it?
Well, no, let's deal with that in a minute. Okay, so what I wanted to look for was my file.
I did see that.
Okay, so no, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Go to your, at 1:15 today, Cole Keen emailed you, and in that thread is.
I never got any further information there. I did get a comment from Kate Abbott, which I'll share with you. I'm just looking for. I did not get to this fast enough.
Cole Keen said that he would get back to us at 1:00 today by end of day. Did we hear anything?
No, I didn't. Okay, so wow. So it doesn't give me the final. Well, at any rate, I received an email from the village school, and I think the reported number, you will have to correct me if I'm wrong about this. And is that 108? Is that what they have on what file?
I believe so. It might even be 107 if we have the student who's leaving.
Right, okay. The student that went to Long Trail?
There's no one who's left for Long Trail since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, okay, this is a different student. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's 107. That's right. And then there was mention of several students that are arriving after the end of the census. The census is the end of our period for census there at village schools tomorrow, the 13th. Then the other thing I was trying to look up was, yeah, I think I'll find it this way. Okay. Yeah. It's not full. Yeah. I know this is boring. Okay. So SVUESP students, there are 15 at Shasberry, 2 at Molly Stark, 1 at the Bennington School. Sacred Heart has 4 students, Highland Hall has 4 students, South Shore has 14 students, Long Trail has 1 student, and then 107 for the village school. Those are the numbers at the moment. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I want to report on, because that's basically our business right now is residency and making sure kids are in the proper place and figuring out the total number of students, which will become important as we get into budget season. Then the other item of business requires us to go to executive session. And so.
We'll make a breakout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You can be here.
Yeah, because I
You
have
have-
something
yeah.
to share. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so you're going to make a breakout. Oh, so who's coming? Can you please tell me there's my screen.
Everybody on the screen.
Everybody, just not at TV.
Not
Everybody,
yet TV, right?
okay. Okay.
They're not on the screen, so. Stick around. We're here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station. Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.